All right, guys. So, quick analysis on RVP. This is the next stock that we're interested in taking a trade on, a swing trade or a day trade, depending on its performance, but most likely a swing trade. So, first we look at the a little bit of information right here about the stock. It's in the healthcare industry. It's a USA stock. Um, and then we go over to the technical chart analysis of this particular stock. It's in a double top pattern up here. That's its resistance point right at $14. And then as you can see, it's got a slight uptrending line holding it up right here for support that it's been respecting for the past couple of months. Overall, the chart looks amazing. The stock has clearly been in an uptrend ever since April. Doesn't look like it was affected much by, I mean, we'd have to go back a little bit more, but it doesn't look like it was affected much by COVID, which is interesting. Looks like it did significantly better after that period. And so, the technical analysis in regards to the chart of this particular stock looks amazing. Clearly, it's had two periods in which it was in a significant downtrend. One was in August, where it started to completely give back its gains, and then the next time was now, where it currently is, where it's in a much lower pullback, a much smaller pullback, but it has been downtrending for the past looks like week or two, and so this can be a great buy opportunity. Obviously, if you bought, if you were able to catch the bottom or somewhere close previously during the last big downtrend, then you rode this all the way back up to 14 to even higher gains. Possibly, maybe you got out here, maybe you got out here, who knows? But still, the potential after the breakdown was significant, and maybe the same thing can happen here. Of course, the potential is slightly lower because this wedge is getting smaller. It had a lot more room to run previously, but there's still plenty of room for profit in between this area right here. Quick fundamental aspect of the stock and just a little bit of information about it. Float size is 13 million, so it's very low. Average volume is about 683,000 shares traded, but currently it's doing close to a million, so it's doing 1.5. It's a typical number. RSI is pretty low, so that's a great sign. And then when we look at some other key indicators, insider ownership is pretty high, which tells you that the people who are managing this company really believe in it if they are investing their own dollars into the stock. They believe in what they're doing, which is a great sign for a company. Institutional ownership is around 22%. Of course, these couple of numbers right here are reported more quarterly, especially the institutional ownership. But still a good sign that previously last quarter, the last time they reported this, there was 22%. And because it's doing so well, I would imagine that that's increased. Some signs that would give you, the answer to that one would be volume. Of course, you can see there's dense volume in this area right here and dense volume in this area right here. So that must have been hedge fund and institutional ownership. On the earnings side and the sales side, things look good. Green means good, I guess. Earnings per share are about 742%. That's very high. Sales quarter over quarter, 133%. That's also excellent. So these things look great. I looked through the news here. I didn't see any alarming things. The first thing I look for is the red or the green next to each news line, and that will tell you if there was some sort of significant news headline that caused some sort of big price movement in that stock. So the first one that stood out to me was, this close to 13% drop, and it was an article from Simply Wall Street regarding, recent stock performance influenced by its fundamentals. I didn't really look into this. I just looked straight at the fundamentals, but I can look at that in my own time a little bit later. But everything else looks good. 23% gain here, 5% gain here. The news basically looks really good for this particular stock. So then I go to a couple of other sites just to get a second opinion, a third opinion, and a fourth opinion on the stock. The more information you have on it, the better. I go to bar chart just to get an idea of what their rating is. They are rating this as a strong buy. They have an 80% buy rating on it with a strengthening short-term outlook, which means they believe that obviously once it breaks out of this downtrend, it can strengthen and push even higher going forward. The other thing I look at is trade-in strategies on the left. And so this tells you, based on their buy signal or their sell signal, if they're going short or long, the number of trades that they've taken. If they simulated their own trades, what would their profit have been? Would they have been right? And so it looks like they took a total of 33 trades and they made $1,000 on those trades. Not sure of what the share size is, but we can figure that out another day. All trades right here. Um, I'm interested in the long side, of course, and so I'll click that. And then we have a total number of 19 buys, 19 long trades, and that made a profit of close to $800. So if you remember, the total that they made from this stock was $1,000, but on the long side, they made $800, which tells us that they are mostly correct when they focus on the long side, which is what they're focusing on now when they say this stock has a strong buy rating. Gives you confidence that, okay, they simulated their signals and most of the time they were correct about that. They made some good money off of that, depending on share size, of course. And so now when they say strong buy, you can stand behind them on that one. The next website I look at is TipRanks. Pulled it up. RVP outperformed. They believe that this stock will continue to do well. They have a bullish sentiment on it. They were unable to track hedge fund and insider activity, but we pieced that together with Finviz, 42% insider ownership, 22% there, and of course those numbers are not 100% accurate now, but at least we have some pieces to the puzzle that are not provided here. Technicals, super positive. Fundamentals, very positive. And so this stock has a really good overall buy rating here on TipRanks. And then I'll go to one more, which is Wall Street Zen, just to get an opinion on the stock. And then we've got a quick, easy to read Zen score here, valuation over the stock. The yellow dot is the industry average. It is above that number, of course. Financials, which is what we looked at, the fundamentals of the stock, the bottom line. It is above the industry average and doing very well. Forecast, there's no forecast on the stock. Of course, many companies have withdrawn their forecast during the year of 2020, so it's not uncommon to see this. It's not alarming at all. It's very difficult during this time to know where a company is headed, and so don't be alarmed by this. Performance, way above industry standards and average with 80%, absolutely crushing it. And then dividend, they probably don't provide a dividend, so don't be alarmed by this area as well. And so overall, these three categories show you that this stock is doing incredibly well, really outperforming, doing a great job with its financials compared to the rest of the industry, and also doing a great job with the valuation overall. And so that gives me an excellent feeling about this stock. And so then what I'll do is I'll just go in and create a plan. And so I've already done that. My plan on this one is, a $10.40 entry. Right now it's at $9.89. $10.40 is somewhere up here. If it can break above, its previous red day highs, then that would be the sign of entry. So $10.40 is that number for me. So that's my entry on that. My stop loss is 30 cents below that. Stop loss is 10.10. There's some support at that level. If it breaks above that level, of course, right here you can see there's 10.10. Right in this area, there's some previous resistance and support that was acting out there, and so I thought that'd be a good place for a stop. But we'll continue watching it. And of course, after such a significant downtrend, you would hope that on the breakout, it'd just be a clean, aggressive breakout at first, and then it would continue gaining more momentum as they see that the trend is broken. And so we'll see how that goes. And so that's a safe stop for me, but I'll watch it, of course. Target is $11.80. Now, these targets, the entry, the stop loss, is based on resistance and support areas on the daily chart from years back and also this year. And so you guys will have to take a look at that chart and create your own entry, your own stop loss, your own target that makes sense to you, but obviously based on what the chart is showing you is reasonable. But mine provides me with a 4 to 5 reward to risk ratio using 600 shares, meaning I am risking no more than $200 with a higher profit target for that, obviously 4.5 times that $200 amount. For me, it boils down to being an extremely low risk trade with very high potential. And so that's my outlook on RVP. Good luck, guys.